development. I have many other books that also are available in, libraries of institutions of higher learning, right? Yes, and the bookstores like Harvard University, you'll find them there. You'll find them in public libraries in many uh, international destinations, for example, in New York, for example, Chicago, Charlotte, Japan. You'll find them. I mean, many parts of the world, right, including Rome, right? Yes, yes, yes. I made sure, right, yes, with the resources that God gave me, right, yes, and the network that God has available to me, of which I thank each and everyone who is watching who are in my network. Right, I always pray for you, right, yes, that in as much as you're doing what you're doing, that the Lord allows that your happiness, peace, and joy be yours now and forevermore. Right, yes. In the last episode, we ended up in completing uh, Romans chapter 12, right, up to verse 18. I remember I talked verse 14 to 18. Verse 18 was very deep because over there, the Apostle Paul, right, yes, makes it clear that we should try to be peaceful with all people. And in the concept of expanding on those ones, I look at practical things, right, yes, that can help us in this world, right, yes. What I'm trying to say over here, brothers and sisters, is that the Bible contains a lot of stories. It contains a lot of testimonies. It contains a lot of dots that, if you're not careful in joining them together, right, yes, in the right way, right, yes, it might not help you that much, right, yes, if you're not able to apply them to aid you or aid the people who the Lord has put under you, right, yes, okay, to become a better version of themselves, to become even as Christ had desired for them to become. Because the whole idea of Christianity is to not only emulate the example of Christ, but to become Christ like in our walk with God, lifestyle, daily activities, norms, traditions, culture, essentially way of life. Right, yes, that somebody can make a distinction just by the mention of my name, that so and so, right, yes, is a Christian. So and so is a genuine Christian. So and so is a true Christian. So and so is a person who's blessed of the Lord, right? Yes. Can this be your name? Right, yes. In a previous episode, right, I think a couple episodes, right, yes, I took my time, right, yes, to focus on the meaning of a name, the value of having a good name, right, yes, because now where I'm going or headed towards in this series is, why is it, right, yes, that the name of Jesus Christ is the only name given under the sun, right, yes, yes, that can exorcise spirits, that can remove devils, that one can be found to be in complete reconciliatory, state with the Lord. Hmm? Right, yes. Why is it that the name Jesus Christ, right? Is it just because he was the only begotten? And what does that mean to you? Okay, right. And so then in so doing, I focused on things like cases, for example, that for example, government cases, all right, that are causing problems into the world today, right? And how we can approach a diplomatic method, for the diplomatic, method, right? Yes, yes, of decreasing tensions between people. Okay, because as a Christian, right, yes, whether you like it or not, the Savior made it clear, right, yes, that if you are not helping to gather the children of God, right, yes, even if you don't have a calling in the church, if you're not helping to gather, you actually helping to scatter, right? You have to be an ambassador of peace. Let me go ahead and read from Romans chapter 12. But I'm going to go ahead and read from verse 18 to 21. I said last episode I'm going to complete it today. Right, yes. Romans chapter 12 has 21 verses. We have gone from verse 1 through different episodes, but today I'm going to complete it up to verse 21. right? Yes, and by expounding an area of opportunity, right? Yes, as is relevant to our, era or time frame today. And so I shall read Romans chapter 12, verse 18 to 21. If it be possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men. Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire on his head. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. Okay. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good. End of reading. Brothers and sisters, in the last episode, we ended up looking at how it is not very easy to live peaceably with one another, especially when I tackled the case of Plessy versus Ferguson. I was going to talk about Brown versus Board of Education, right? Yes, as is relevant to what is happening in the world over here today, tensions between people. Okay, but the Spirit of the Lord led me to, give a brief synopsis or background of Plessy versus Ferguson. For those who did not get it, there's a past episode that's already on the YouTube channel that you can go through, right? Yes, but when I preach, when I talk about the word of the Lord, I focus on things that can help me, can help you, can help your child, can help you, a member of society, a stakeholder, somebody who you are influenced, right? Yes, to become a better version of yourself. Being a better version of yourself sometimes just begins by you getting to know a little bit more or being aware of things that happened right just before you actually right just became who you are, that you may be able to appreciate. Okay, just like in a family setting, if you're a mother or father and maybe you're going through school or something, or maybe you have some kind of luxury, if the story of your mother and father when they're struggling before they actually told you that, right, yes, it became part of your knowledge, it can help you to appreciate God even more. It can help you to appreciate other people. Even Tupac Shakur was led Tupac Shakur, his bird is not very far away. I mean, he live in the state of Georgia, right, yes. He was led to appreciate his mother by singing a song. Dear Mama. Right, yes. So, in the process of healing, in the process of learning how to live peacefully with one another, as we read in Romans chapter 12, verse 18, one of the key components is figuring out where the knowledge, the correct knowledge and understanding of where we were before and where we are now and where we are going on the things that you value the most, right? Yes. Where do you get, and when you get them right, how do they influence you to become a better person or a greater impact in your life? So last episode we talked about the case of Plessy versus Ferguson in that sustained the doctrine of separate but equal or equal but separate in the Constitution of the United States of America. And this case was actually decided on May the 18th of 1896. Okay, in the Supreme Court. Right, yes. Originally coming from a case that was decided upon in the High Court of the Supreme Court of Louisiana. Right, yes. Now today, right, yes, I gave a promise that we're gonna, right, yes, talk about Brown versus Board of Education. One of the reasons I talk about it is also because I, being an immigrant who was able to acquire a formal education and college education here, I went to a predominantly white college here in the United States. Right, yes, I've seen. Right, yes, I testify that not all white people are racist. I also testify that not all black people are racist also. Okay, right, yes. I testify asking Dr. King, right, yes, if you are going to feel like judging another person on those contents, focus on the content of character. It shall be in your own interest, right, yes, or it shall give you clarity of vision, or you will be able to accomplish more, right, yes, with society, if content of character is integral in your, making decisions about people, rather than judging them as as a block, or a concept of stereotypes, or concepts of that nature, right, yes. In Brown versus Board of Education, that case was argued, I think, December the 9th of 1952, right? But it is really in 1951 when Oliver Brown, this man has a daughter who just go to school, but the daughter has to go very far, another school, farther away from his house, while passing a school that is just next to his house. Reason why is because the school next to his house is a white school, and he is a black kid. So the daughter is a black kid, so they has to go to another school. Has to take a bus and has to satisfy the demands of racial segregation in schools. Right? Yes. The case actually failed in its first attempt. By the time it was argued in December 9th of 1952, uh, it failed. But then Thurgood, Thurgood was actually the chief counsel, right, of the NAACP, okay, which is National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. It's an acronym. Okay. I'm saying this because there are people who are watching me in different parts of the world who might not be conversant of these cases over here, but it's going to impact them because some of them are going to be international students over here. Some of them are going to be husbands over here. Some of them are going to be wives over here. Some of them are going to be relatives with people because the world is increasingly becoming a global village. To foster family relationship, it is uniquely expedient to know what, at least have a lucid comprehension of the history or historical background where people are coming from, especially when it comes to dealing with feuds within society, even at a family setting. Right. So Brown gets very mad that his daughter cannot go and attend school in a school right next to his house, right? Yes, and has to travel, get on a bus, and take hours to go somewhere. And goes and talk to the headmaster of this school, the principal of this school, so that the principal refuses, and this is a white school, right? Okay, and so like other parents, right? Yes, this has been going on for a while, so they decide, you know what? We believe that under 14th Amendment of the Constitution and the equal um, protection clause. It's the equal protection clause of the 14th Amendment. This separate but equal, right, is not really legal, right? So they go again, like, back and argue this case. Okay. So sometime in the May of 17th of 1954, the Supreme Court of the United States of America actually decides, give a unilateral decision, 9-0, right, on this one, right, and making it clear that separate educational facilities are inherently unequal. Okay. At that particular time, they actually had to do that because they did not do that, holding the union together would have been possible, but the cost of doing it would be higher than the cost of actually passing this case. And in as much as this case was passed, like in fact, it even had to go and get another supplement. And up to today, some people, some parts here in the South are still struggling, right, yes, with implementing some aspects of this Brown versus Board of Education. Somebody who does not think that is true should probably do some research with the NAACP. Right, Reverend sisters, in fostering, right, yes, right, the concept of being peace with one another. I want to keep it as is relevant to what we're discussing in Romans chapter 12, verse 18, for example. To try to be peace with one another. Right? Yes. Now that I know that society, even at universal level, even at government level, still struggles, right? Yes, yes, with concepts, right? Yes, that are supposed to be ideas of human rights, right? Yes. How much more can I do as a Christian in my own house to be a leading example, right? Yes, by applying these things in my life. Okay, the only way you are going to succeed, right? Yes, in interpreting these things or applying them in your lives is to start in your own house. Okay. Now, it is important to note that even if you go to court, for example, in this case, Brown versus Board of Education, this case started in 1951. By the time they actually get a fair, trial and actually get the decision they're looking for, the child is already now in junior school, does not even need how to go to that school. Okay. Right, yes. My take on this one as I close this show today, right, yes, as I end this show today, I want to leave you with a rhetorical question. Okay. If I have a quarrel with my neighbor, that I can go to my neighbor and approach my neighbor and deal with, right, okay? Do I have to take it to court? First question. Second question. Let me think about Jesus. Jesus made it clear, right? Yes, that if you have a feud or a quarrel with your neighbor, try as much as possible to solve it first within your own wounds before taking it to court, right? Yes. Do you see the value of this case, right? Yes, being solved, right? Yes, yes, at state level, right? Yes, rather than being solved at federal level, right? Yes. Would it have been in the best interest of the state of Kansas to actually solve this one at the state than create an eyesore for it in public, even uh, after today, right? Yes, that history has etched in its annals. My sisters, these things are very hard to understand sometimes, but I ask the Lord to help you, right? Yes, to help me, to help all of us, right? Yes, to try as much as possible to live peaceably with one another as we go into the next show next time. From me, yes, goodbye. God bless you.